Hey, what's up guys? I am Brian at Whisper Status 74 and this video is going to be on the Vizio Quantum P Series X, and it is about the early access that Artings offers. I want to give a shout out to the Grizzle, who has been amazing in keeping me up to date with a lot of the different reviews. He also has the Quantum P Series from last year, and he has sent me a lot of different reviews before many other people. I want to give him a special shout out and a thank you. I was a little conflicted about doing this video simply because this is early access from artings.com, and it is a Patreon component of their channel, meaning that if you pay a subscription, for maybe the year or a few months, you'll get early access to this material here, which the Grizzle is a subscriber for. The reason I didn't want to do this earlier from anybody else is because I want that to be something that you guys can find with them and support them. These channels work very, very hard, especially ones like Vincent and Artings, which, as informative and as good as they are, they don't have as large a following as you think they would, considering how much hard work they all put into it. The painstakingly testing that they do, the amount of time they spend with each and every display. They purchased the Vizio Quantum XP series 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they have been testing it the entire time. I messaged them last week on Facebook, and guys, they do respond within a few days, which is pretty amazing, and they really helped me in that 4K nightmare that a lot of you guys are aware of. They were right there with me, and we'll go through that in another video. The messages they went back and forth with me, they were very patient. I was not in a good place with displays, and they were awesome, and they really helped me out. Try and support them. Try and support channels like Vincent. Even though they're larger, guys, they don't really get the views, in my opinion, that they deserve for all the hard work that they do. I mean, there's channels on YouTube with millions of followers that don't do a whole lot other than, I don't know, playing a piano. But these guys do a lot of work. They're very nice, they're very personable, and they're very thorough. Now, do I believe that they're sponsored or bought? I don't personally believe that. Some of you guys do. That's where we differ in opinion. I think they're very honest. Do I think the reviews are perfect? Of course they're not perfect, guys. One, they're human. Two, they actually don't cherry pick displays, meaning they buy them themselves, and those displays will have variance in terms of their numbers. The OLED review they did on the Sony has been debatable lately, the A9G, because their numbers were very low in terms of its peak brightness. I've heard many different things from the community, people that actually have them, and people that say it's dark, some say they're not. Dwayne on the channel, shout out to him. He has the A9G, and he had it calibrated, and the numbers were very different. So it's a unit by unit basis. If he sees this video, Dwayne, if you see this video, jump in, and you can also maybe help answer some questions on the A9G and the perceived brightness there. Back to Artings, they are awesome. I love the numbers. I love how their whole top section focuses on displays, build quality, picture quality, heat it puts off, motion blur, upscaling, the inputs, input lag outside of game mode, motion interpolation, pixel response, reflections, contrast, local dimming, comparing it to other displays that are also in its class. So please support them. I'm only doing this video today because their actual review is coming out tomorrow, and the early access review has been up for a few days already, so I don't feel like I'm stealing their content. I won't be doing these in the future. I'll subscribe myself as an insider, but I don't think I should share it too early, because that's something that you guys should, I think, pay for if it's part of their subscription, and it really helps them out. So think about supporting both Vincent and Artings. A lot of work goes into what they do. I'm not sure if Vincent has a team. I know that Cedric and the other guys do an amazing job. They do TVs, monitors, headphones. They do a lot. It would be worth it, and it would be great to support them if you can. I definitely will. And the Grizzle, good looking out for you to support them. Now, quickly before we get into the numbers, there's not a lot to cover. It's just a sneak peek on what will be released tomorrow. Now, why is the Vizio Quantum XP series, why are we waiting for the review in terms of the Artings review? And since Vincent doesn't do reviews on Arting, or I'm sorry, on the Vizio, it's not available in the UK. The reason I want to see their numbers, even if it's just their numbers, is there's been a terrible trend with LEDs lately where things are going backwards a little bit. You saw that on their review of the Sony 800G, that it was a step back from the 800E. It's happening with even the larger companies where their contrast is going down in lieu of wide viewing angle, and that's something I don't care about. So I would be very upset if I had purchased a successor to an excellent display and found that it was a step back and I'm paying a premium for it. So I want to see how these numbers stack up against last year's Quantum P series. Now, before we get behind the camera and go through these numbers, what I want to clarify is Vizio, TCL, Hisense have had this brand, this garbage brand, cheap brand name for many, many years. And I know that especially Vizio is trying to pull their way out of it. And I don't feel that they're a garbage brand, nor TCL, nor Hisense. I don't feel that way personally. But when we look at the Vizio P-Series Quantum X, releasing for $3,500 at 75 inches, many of you are saying that there's no excuse now. It should be a premium product. And I do agree. But also keep in mind, guys, that the Vizio Quantum X is not competing directly with a mid-range display. Now, the Sony 950G, which Digital Trends, check them out as well, was competing with, they're not in the same class. Now, theoretically, the 950G is Sony's flagship. The 900E is not Sony's flagship, nor was the 900F. The 950G is only a step up slightly above that. The reason it's the flagship is there isn't a flagship LED. The Z9G is, for me, an untouchable display. 80 inches, $14,000. The other one's $80,000. To me, that's just a prototype. It's not really consumer unless you're very wealthy. So that 950G is their flagship. Spec-wise, the Quantum is not competing with that. The Quantum is competing with the Q90R, it's competing with the Q9FN, it's competing with the next level up in terms of dimming zones and its peak brightness and its specs, Dolby Vision. So when we say that this thing needs to deliver $3,500, I do agree. However, I don't think it's quite as cut and dry as that. I don't think it should be judged as a waste at $3,500. It's so expensive. We have to look at what it's going to deliver when you consider the Q90R and those displays, the Q900R are $7,000, $6,000. Then you put into perspective what it's really competing with, and then we can get it in the proper context. Does it compete directly with ones that are $3,500? Yes, it's still expensive considering the TCL is $1,000 at. They're just different leagues, guys, and what they're trying to accomplish. Now, why I'm waiting for the review myself is if these numbers drop off a cliff from the already excellent Quantum from last year, I won't be purchasing it. It's still a lot of money for me to purchase, but if they stay kind of in line, which so far they are, then I'll still make the purchase, no question, because the numbers are still pretty good. If they change badly in terms of contrast, or there is more blooming due to the contrast ratio, then that's not what I'll be looking to purchase. I haven't compared these to last year's Quantum. You guys can do that. But we're going to see the review tomorrow anyway. So that was my early intro. Artings, great guys. I've been watching Cedric for years. They're awesome. I'm not trying to cannibalize their content. If anything, asking you guys to support them. Think about doing the early access peak. Again, I won't be doing these again because I think it's something that they're charging for, and I think that's important. But I am a big fan. I do appreciate all their work. Same with Vincent and all the other channels. But those two, and specifically, are more in line with what we're interested in. Which is why I like both their channels when they cover the same thing, because they do have different opinions and they do actually play off each other, which is awesome. So we'll go through the numbers. Tomorrow is a big day for me as far as I'm concerned. This review tomorrow will dictate whether I purchase it or not. If it has the exact same numbers as the Quantum from last year, I'll definitely purchase it, because to me, a display with those specs at $3,500, to me, is still worth it. Because that's some Q9FN numbers, and the Q9FN was awesome. So let's look at the numbers really quickly. Thank you to the Grizzle and to Artings. Let's just go through it quickly. Behind the camera. Okay, guys, this video was also this was also delayed, the review, so it makes me wonder if some of their testing, they were trying to go a little bit further in their numbers to find out what was going on. As you can see here, it will say full review has been delayed. We are now aiming to publish it on Monday, the 8th of July, which is tomorrow. Now, picture quality review at 8.2, I believe, is a step back from last year's Quantum. However, guys, keep in mind that their numbers in terms of this compared to last year, they don't compare to last year. This 8.2 is comparable to this year's displays. And what I mean by that is if you're looking at last year's OLEDs, they might have gotten an 8.7. They can't just keep going up and up and up because eventually their displays will all get 10s. They need to measure them against this year's displays. What I mean by that is their criteria for the Quantum has gone up from last year's. So this number may be lower than it was last year. I want to say it was an 8.4 or an 8.6. I'm actually not sure. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. So we can look at last year's Quantum P series picture quality got an 8.3. So we'll do a deep dive into their review tomorrow. We're just bringing this stuff to your attention. Now, it is a quick review from them, so they're not going to actually elaborate on why this got 1 point lower. But guys, remember, it's not measuring last year's. If they had done that, it would have meant that they can't judge things per year. They have to do it per last year. They can't always compare that way. So this is going to be measured on their TVs this year. So we're looking at contrast ratio, local dimming. They got an 8.0. That is not amazing. Their contrast is native contrast they have here as 5414:1. With local dimming on is 14,743:1. Now that is down from last year. Excuse me. Last year's is, let's go ahead and fix that, is 6,084:1, 15,329:1. So that is disappointing. Now, how important is that little bit of a drop? We'll see in their deep dive how they explain it. For me, that's not a variance enough to make me not purchase it. And again, that variance could be unit by unit, but it's definitely down. It's not down as much as, say, the Z9F from the Z9D. So that, again, could be a variance in panels. The thing that we're looking for, though, guys, were things to increase, not go backwards. So we're going to see. When they responded to me on the Facebook message, they said that some things were better and some things were worse. Right now, what I'm seeing is a few things are worse. So let's hope in the deep dive they can tell me what things are better. So right now, so far, the picture quality is down 1 point. And the contrast is down not significantly. Let's go see the SDR peak brightness numbers. We'll stay with those first. And what you're looking at is still amazing peak brightness numbers. Unreal. But not the 3,000 that we were promised. Now, that might just be marketing. The real question will be, will the 75-inch be even less bright due to, that might be marketing too. It says 2,600 and the smaller version says 3,000, which doesn't make much sense to me. So we're looking at 637 on the SDR peak brightness. The Quantum last year had 846. 2% window here as 2005. On last year's variant, 2016, 10% window is 2,367. This year, 2,351. 25% window is 1832. 25% window here is 1601. So that's what I mean about a little bit of variance. So the 25% window here is brighter than last year's. The 50% window here is, on the screen, is 1001, and last year's is 1289. Now, SDR peak 100% window was 798 last year. This year it is 595. And 1977 on last year's for a 2% window Oh, that's interesting. So that's sustained peak brightness. What it means, it's sustaining the color or sustaining the brightness. It is 1446 this year. The next one is 1694, 2310 last year. So this is a pretty big variance from last year. Significantly in some places. SDR, sustained 100% window, is 591 last year. It is 795. Now you guys can use this video and compare last year's. Here are last year's numbers. And they are quite a bit different. Within 100 or so to 200. And only in one area is it brighter. So HDR peak brightness. Real scene HDR is 1406 this year, 1368 last year. HDR peak brightness 2% window is 1800 this year, 2132 last year. This year, it's 10%, 2373. This last year is 2433. So, you know, the numbers are close, but they are down. Peak brightness, 25% is 1826. Again, 25% is up on the newer model. Last year is 1449. 50% window this year is 1015. Last year, 1094. HDR peak brightness 100% window is 604 this year. Last year, 826. Sustained 2% window, 2101 last year, 1298 this year. Sustained 10% window this year, 1705. Last year, let's see, the 10% window last year, 2395. HDR sustained brightness at 25% window is 1671, brighter this year. Last year, 1443. 50%, 921 this year, 1088 or 1088 last year. 822 last year. So we were within 200 and almost every single, God, sorry about the blurriness. We're within 200 with almost every single metric here. That is disappointing that we're backwards at all. And hopefully they will bring that up in the review. That is not great, because a lot of us were looking for a huge improvement, because we're talking about 3,000 nits. We're not seeing 3,000 nits here. What we are seeing, guys, though, is that you are seeing a very, very bright image. They may have knocked this down to help with blooming. Maybe the display was a little too hard to control last year. Maybe this year they're trying to control that a little bit. But for me personally, this is disappointing so far. It's the first time I'm comparing it. We're doing it live together. And again, I'm not trying to blow up Arting's spot by showing this. It's only a day difference. So, let's see. Black uniformity, color volume. We can look at some color coverage here and see what we got here. Hold on one sec. Okay, guys, color gamut, wide color gamut, yes. Here, the DCI P3XY on the left is 96.34%. The UV is 97.94%. On the last year's model, you're at 97.04 for the XY, and for the UV, 97.99. Those numbers are negligible. They also haven't gone up. Let's see if they have, as far as the P3 coverage, ITP. Last year you have 88.6, and the 10,000 CD this year. So all these numbers are down a few percent. Not a huge big deal, but again, not what we would hope for. A lot of us were hoping for higher up. Now the Rec 2020 last year was 76.30. The Rec 2020 UV was 80.94. Both of those numbers are up this year at 79% and 85.55%. And that might be about all they cover. You know, gradient, ooh, the gradient is down. So we're going to look at that. The gradient last year was 7.4. The gradient this year is 6.8. Now, what does that mean for us, guys? Is color gradients showing banding in skyboxes. So this is significantly a step down, meaning they did not address the thing that many of you were mostly concerned about. Color gradients. That means that the clean gradients from one color to the next. When you're watching a movie, if you see some banding, that is the inability for the colors to blend in with one another. Last year, it was definitely a weakness. It was 7.4. And these numbers on the screen are up, which I don't think is great in this category. But these are more technical aspects than I can pretend to understand. So it still has motion. Motion is up from 8.6 last year to 9.6 this year, which many of you were concerned about. What is a little concerning is the flicker free is down to 4.0, where last year it was 9.9. So that is very interesting, and that could be an issue. For why that would change, I am not sure. It could be because the response time is much faster. Black frame insertion last year was a 10. It's a 10 again. Same with motion interpolation. And that's about it. I mean, the input lag, since a lot of you guys are interested in that, the input lag is down at 1080p. Let's see, 4K. All right, they haven't released all these numbers here yet. So 10.5 at 120 hertz. That is also a little bit down. So, all right, guys, that's it in a nutshell. My personal opinion at this moment is it's very disappointing, if I'm being very honest with you and I'm being organic with you, because I'm going through these numbers in comparison with you guys. Will it keep me from buying it? Honestly, I'm going to have to wait and see what the full review says, guys. Remember, I am just a person by myself. I would be buying this display not just to test it, but to own it. And these numbers, as they stand, are knocking me back a little bit. Doesn't mean I wouldn't purchase it, because a lot of these numbers are still pretty high and much higher than what I already have, but it may not be worth $3,600 to me. We're going to have to see why a lot of these other numbers have dropped, because what they're giving you is 7.1 grain uniformity is actually terrible, meaning that there is probably going to be some dirty screen effect. But without the